Here is the CELPIP video that all of you have been waiting for the speaking module, the speaking templates. It's a new version. And again, these templates don't cover everything. Let me just tell you right now, this is something that everybody can use. But if you want the most detailed version of our templates with complex sentences and examples on how to use them correctly and what not to do with the templates, you got to check out our course. The link is in the description. That's where the entire detail is mentioned. But in this video, I'm going to cover the templates from mostly the surface level that will give you a very good direction and a structure, and you would know what to do in all your 8 speaking parts in the exam. So let's get started. Okay, the first question is about giving advice. So you have to talk to a person, maybe it's suggesting something like getting a job, all right? Now, mostly it's informal. It could be formal too. So what you would do here is when you start, you would say, hey, Bob, if it's informal. If it's formal, instead of hey, you will just say hi or hello, okay? You want to say a name, a real name. It might be given in the question, or it might not be, and in that case, you should make it up. I always say Bob. Sometimes people are thinking about names in the exam, and it's a waste of time. So just pick a name, a default name, 1 syllable, so you save time. Hey, Bob, how's everything? The reason we say this, now everything here that is mentioned is for a reason, okay? So the reason we say it like this is because it's casual, it's informal, and mostly you have informal topics there. We don't usually even say, how are you, right? We don't say that to our friends. So what's up is another one, but my fear there is it's too informal. And again, these templates have worked for our students really well. That's how I know these things. How's everything is just the best semi-formal way to start. Okay, so you start with that. Then you say listen. By the way, guys, listen is better than saying see. Okay, a lot of people use this. See, I want to tell you that, no, don't say that because see is another word, right? It's like you want them to see something. Listen is actually listen to the next thing I'm about to say. So you say listen, pause there, okay? Don't just start right away. All the commas there mean that you have to pause. Listen, I know, and then add the topic here. Listen, I know that you have been looking for a job. It's a tough market out there, but I have some advice for you. I have some suggestions for you, and so on. So you repeat the question here basically, listen, I know that whatever the situation is, and then you start. Firstly, secondly, thirdly, we want to keep it the same. This is the reason our students have been so successful. It's very organized this way. If you have looked at my lessons on connectors, I usually don't prefer them, but CELPIP loves them up to now. Their love for firstly, secondly, thirdly has not changed. So we're not going to change that. So you want to do still firstly, secondly, thirdly. You can also use this, and this is a slightly different tone. Instead of saying firstly, it's a sentence, which is going to give you good marks for the range, okay? So you say the first thing you should do is whatever, okay? First thing you should do is, and then go with your point. Usually it's a 20-second point. Look for some jobs online. There are these websites, blah, blah, blah. All right, secondly, and then your suggestion. Thirdly, and then your suggestion. You want to make 3 suggestions. Some people ask if 2 are enough. Yeah, but it's better if you do 3. People who score the best marks usually do 3. Okay. Bob, this is all right. Look at this finish. Bob, you say his name. Again, we're showing realism. It's important to show realism in the CELPIP speaking. So again, you repeat the name, Bob. Please, I put this in caps so you know you have to emphasize. People don't emphasize, and I hate that because you lose marks if you're monotone. So it's going to sound like this. Bob, please don't miss any of these suggestions. I trust you to follow this for your own sake. Again, the exclamation marks show emphasis. Catch up with you soon. Okay, make sure to also pause after these exclamation marks. And there you have it. You got a very informal finish, seems very realistic. It is exactly how people talk. It is exactly how friends talk. And just the perfect ending for that perfect answer that you can make. All right, again, you want to make sure your grammar and vocab and everything in between is good. All right, let's go with speaking 2. This is where you are supposed to talk about favorite thing, vacation, memory, person, whatever. Okay, I start with interestingly, because again, if you have seen my previous lessons, I always tell people you should have a range of vocab, which means using good adverbs. So lees are a part of that, and the next one we have is mainly. All right, so the more lees you use, the better it is. Okay, again, in our course, you see a complete description on all types of lees and every single place where you can use them to get the full marks. Again, link is in the description for that. Now, interestingly, I've never thought about whatever. Okay, this is again a very natural start. It'll feel like it's coming naturally from you. Assume we're talking about a vacation. So interestingly, I have never thought about where I want to go for a vacation. Okay, you got your mark for interestingly. You have a very informal, very casual, very day-to-day beginning, very natural. And then you got a bunch of connectors, which are going to give you your marks for coherence and structure. So you're going to add a few points here, right? You're going to talk about the vacation, where it was, how much was it, and what did you enjoy, etc. All those points you can link with these connectors mainly. And of course, here you want to talk about the lengthiest point, okay? Because it's mainly, so it has to be the important point. And then you follow it up with also. Now again, we're later on going to be using some advanced connectors like likewise. And then there's another video we're going to do for the other 4 parts. And there we have furthermore likewise and stuff. So right now we're using a slightly lower, well, not lower, high frequency connector also, because we're going to mix it up later with the more extreme connectors like furthermore and formal ones. So this is all planned out. This is why we're showing the examiner at different places our range. Okay, so here we're going to use also the best connector to put. It's also going to give you a quick flow to your next point. You finish it off with overall. Okay, overall, and then you sum it up, whatever you have said, in one sentence. Okay, when you go to speaking 3, it's a picture. You describe a picture. You want to start with the picture portrays. And you could say here, if you're not ready, you could say the picture portrays the scene off, and then you can talk about the scene. But it's, if you want to save time, just say the picture portrays and then the scene exactly. Like if the scene is of a classroom, the picture portrays students studying in a classroom. If you want to make it longer, the picture portrays the scene of students studying in a classroom. It really depends on if you're confident enough to just get into it, okay? In the foreground, it's very common, right? We use that, and again, CELPIP is in love with that, so keep using that in the foreground. That would cover everything in the front, and background will be the things in the back. One mistake people make is they don't use a connector when they move to the next sentence, and at this point you should, because it's almost in the middle of the speaking. So before you say in the background, say moreover in the background. That way it's a good connector that builds up. Finally would be the last thing you would say, and it's also a lee, okay? So it's more range of vocab there. In this part, we're not doing a conclusion. Like here you said overall, but here we're not gonna do it because we're gonna reserve it for speaking 4. We'll get to that right now. And the reason is, again, we're showing the examiner a range of expressions, structure, construction, and all that fancy stuff, okay? So here, when we do finally, we're kind of doing a conclusion, but we're not like wrapping up the whole picture. You're just saying finally, and one more thing within the picture is what you can describe. When you go to speaking 4, that's where we're going to do this one sentence. You can see at the end, copy paste. All right, all these templates are just copy paste. Use them confidently and naturally, and you're good. So we'll do it here and show the examiner that we can use different ways to conclude. We have that ability. Let's move to speaking 4. This is where you predict what's going to happen next. You start with considering, all right? This is the only complex sentence we have seen so far. Again, guys, this is a basic version, a very good way to improve your marks, but if you really are looking for the best ways to improve your marks, the most advanced version is in our course in the description. But this is one example of how you can start a complex sentence, okay? You use considering when you want to break down a sentence into 2 parts. So assume we're talking about the classroom. Now we're predicting as well. So you would start by saying, considering the teacher is not in the classroom, I believe the kids would start causing chaos in the next few minutes. All right, so you have 2 things here now. Teacher is not here, so this is what's going to happen. This will make it a complex sentence, a great way to start, and it will catch the examiner's attention too. Once again, everything is strategically placed here, because if you sometimes use complex sentences in the middle, examiners don't catch it. They're humans. This is, again, a human being marking your exam. So it's important to put it at the start at times to show the examiner, hey, give me mark right now. Your attention is maximum at the start. I used a complex sentence. I need my mark. Next is likewise. When you move on to the next part of the picture, use a good connector like likewise. And then you say, let's move on to what we're doing here is, you see, we have a range. We got the mainly, interestingly, we got normal connectors like also, moreover, likewise, and then we have a phrase. Let's move on to showing a range of connectors. All right, let's move on to the left side where we see whatever. Okay, and when you finish, you want to finish with, these are the most probable actions taking place next. Probable is a fancier word, and that sentence alone is short, simple. At the end, people are usually rushing, so you need a short sentence at the end. Just wrap it up and just copy paste it, just memorize it, and you're all set. Okay? If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't worry, part 2 is coming in the next few hours, not days. It's going to be uploaded soon, but just keeping it short for one video. 4 speaking parts right here. Part 2 coming up with the next 4 speaking parts. All right, thank you very much.